Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, so before we move on, this is not a guide, it's basically just my experience at Barrows this week. But hopefully it will contain some information that will help you if you ever want to go to Barrows in the future, because I basically did this the entire week that the event was out, and I'm pretty sure that I'm a master at Barrows now. But yeah, so I've significantly improved and managed to bring my average time for each run to about 4 minutes, sometimes more or less, depending on how far the chest is from the rope in the tunnels. And just like watching other people, I managed to get a strategy down where I don't even have to bank if I don't want to. So, like, just the combination of what I saw everyone else doing. So, let's just get right into it. This is what my setup looked like when I realized I didn't really need prayer potions as much. So, full Virtus, Fury, or Ragefire, Seer's Ring, Mage's Book, Polypore Staff, Soulwork Cape, and Barrows Gloves. I wasn't sure if I should use Soulwork's Cape or not because I really wasn't using prayer that much. So maybe a Mage Cape would be better. I don't have a Mage Cape though because I'm terrible. Or a God Cape, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, as for my inventory, I got Overloads, Prayer Potions, Ring of Wealth, Claws, and Ice Barrage Runes, Blood Barrage Runes. And I also usually bring a Cerebrew, a Panic Cerebrew, just in case. Alright, so I threw in a sample run here. It was kind of on the long side because the chest was pretty far from the rope. But basically what I do for each run is, for each of the melee guys, catch a freeze on them with Ice Barrage, and then finish them off with the Polypore Staff spell, whatever that is. And if I need HP, I wait until they're just about dead, and then finish them off with Blood Barrage, because that's when you get the most HP, is when you're finishing them off. Do most of the damage with the Polypore spell though. So I actually find, or I'm pretty sure it would be more effective to Blood Barrage than to Soul Split. That way you minimize prayer usage, and I know it's coming from someone who can't use Soul Split yet, but I honestly think that Blood Barrage, even if you have Soul Split, you should use Blood Barrage because you don't have to use prayer. Like, you would only really be able to use prayer, or you would only really be able to use Soul Split when you drink a dose of prayer potion, because you're always losing prayer when you're in the crypts and tunnels and whatever. So Blood Barrage you can use it whenever you want, and you don't have to drink a prayer potion if you bring Blood Barrage runes. So there's a little tip for you. So the only guy I pray on is Carol, as obviously I don't have much protection going on there, and he accounts for the only real reason for me to drink a prayer potion. And I also want to say that I know that there are ways to go without using prayer at all, but I really don't see a point in it because you end up restocking on prayer potions at the chest if you're wearing a Ring of Wealth especially. Each time you get one of those 2-dose prayer potions, that's 2 more runs, assuming you use assuming you use 1 dose per run. The only real reason I could see for not wanting to use prayer is to maximize on overloads, but in my opinion, what I do is still pretty efficient. And I should also mention that the sample clip you're watching right now was done during the beginning of a trip. So usually you start a run with 0 prayer and drink a dose of prayer, or I drink a dose of prayer potion at Carol, do Guthin, and sometimes I pray right before I freeze to Hark, because there's really no point in not praying, as my prayer will drop to 0 at Aram. And if you're following the order I do each run, it's like Varric, Torag, Carol, Guthin, and or Guthin, I don't really know how to say his name, and Hark, and then Aram. It's kind of like a little swirl you got going on. And I also know that using the Claw spec at Carol is probably more effective than at Aram, but I'd rather 2-spec and take maybe 1 or 2 Polypore spells at Aram and sit there trying to mage him for half an hour. And mage is effective against Carol, so I don't see a point in not maging Carol. Basically I want to maximize speed as much as possible, but feel free to leave feedback on that. What do you guys think? And feel free to leave feedback on my strategy in general and ways to improve it, and just for everyone and myself, that would be pretty cool. Alright, so I think I mentioned everything about the crypts and killing the brothers, so let's move on to the tunnels. Basically, as you saw in the sample clip, what I do is once I figure out what room I'm in, I type it out so I remember when I'm coming back. And normally it wouldn't be necessary, but I don't have Draken's medallion, which teleports you to Barrows, would be so much more helpful than having to run back every time. But since I don't have that, I have to remember what room I came from. And usually I remember, but sometimes I get confused, so that's why I type it out, or I started typing it out eventually. And yeah, so the tunnels actually took me some time to visualize, because for some dumb reason I decided not to look at a map and instead just figure out what the whole kind of maze thing going on down there was on my own. But I got there eventually, and it actually didn't take me too long, but long enough. Anyway, a couple things I wanted to mention about the tunnels. For one, kill count doesn't improve your chances of getting a Barrows item, only runes and bolt racks and that stuff. So I don't really ever bother with a kill count, except towards the end of my Barrows experience I started killing the creature or whatever spawns in the chest room, because right after I started doing that is when I got my Visage, and you'll see that in this vid. At some point I slowed it down. I'm 99% sure that killing that creature has nothing to do with your loot, but it's just something I do, kind of like a good luck thing, I guess. And another thing I want to mention is that the Ring of Wealth doesn't increase your chances at a Barrows item either, but I wear one because you get like prayer potions, the 2-dose prayer potions, the sharks and stuff like that, even though you don't really need sharks, but whatever. Alright, so you may have seen within my first few loots, and we're obviously into loots now, it's been going on in the background. I was pretty noob at the beginning. I had a spade, because I didn't look up Barrows before I came here. I didn't look up what to do, what to bring, or the new Barrows I should say, because obviously you used to need a spade, but I had a spade, and I had a telly tab, which was kind of pointless as well, because I really should have had no need to panic telly ever, but I don't know, I brought one just in case in the beginning. I only had like 3 overloads, but obviously I was just going on my past experience with Barrows like years ago, when I can only do about 2 runs tops per trip. But as you watch the loots, you'll see my inventory slowly progresses to about what I showed you in the beginning, so that's good. Definitely don't only want 3 overloads when I can do over 50, 60, or however many I want really. Trips or runs per trip. And now let's talk about loot. So right in the beginning, within about an hour of doing Barrows, I got 2 Barrows items, and I was thinking maybe they made the items easier to get, but no. Right after that, you'll see, or yeah, you already have seen actually. I went 120, over 120 chests. I cut a lot of them out, but I didn't get anything but runes and bolt racks, and I was really gonna quit there, but I was determined, and finally I think like 3 days after not getting anything, I think I got I don't know, Torag helmet or Varric's brasser or something, and it was like everyone around me was getting items and I wasn't really getting that frustrated, because I was actually having fun with Barrows, and that's really the whole reason I did it. When when Jagex announced that they were updating it and they were doing the double loot thing, I was like, I want to do that because I actually enjoy Barrows. But yeah, if I didn't enjoy it, obviously I would have stopped. But I pretty much forgave Jagex for that mess of a dry run when I got the Visage, and you saw that about 3 minutes ago. But yeah, I know I don't need the money for a Visage, but it was just pretty exciting because it's pretty rare to get rare drops. Oh, that's a crazy thought, but it was actually pretty exciting, and I'm probably gonna keep it just in my bank, just as a souvenir. I might not sell it, but I might. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So, alright, let's talk about some glitches that I encountered. There were only a couple, and one rather annoying thing was that the arrow that's supposed to tell you which brother is yours was right maybe 2% of the time, with all the people there. So I must have tried to attack the wrong brother about 500 times. I'm not even kidding, 500 times. Well, mainly towards the beginning, because I eventually realized that that arrow is, like, there's no point in that arrow, it's not accomplishing anything. But yeah, it was just really frustrating. But either way, I got used to it, and And also, even though they seem to have gotten rid of that thing that used to happen where you could have like multiple brothers spawn in the tunnels, it happened to me one time. Well, kind of two times, but one time which I showed, and another time I was running back and a brother spawned. So yeah, those were just a couple glitches I encountered. Did anyone else have a similar experience? I'm sure a lot of you were going out doing Barrows. I know I talked to a lot of people that were. So let me know your loot and tell me what's up. Alright, so just at the end here, I price checked everything. Of course, that's how you gotta end it. And I kind of rounded the chaos runes and mind runes, or estimated I should say, because I had some in my bank already. I didn't know exactly how many I got, and the only way for me to have figured it out was to look through my video and count or add them all up, and I didn't want to do that. But I did get an exact number on the blood runes and death runes. So with the Visage, the total came to about 22 mil. That's about, I don't know, 30 plus hours, 40 plus hours. I'm not really sure of an exact number, but not too bad. I would not recommend Barrows as a efficient money maker. There are definitely better ways, but it is fun. I'll give it that. And that's just about all I got for you guys. I'm going back to college on Sunday, so I'm not going to have nearly as much time as I had over break, but I'm still going to try to bust out a couple videos, if not a video a week. So I'll have a new Project Nostalgia up coming up soon, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. I appreciate the support, and definitely leave feedback and tell me if there's anything I can improve on with Barrows runs, or if there's any tips you want to give other people. And thanks a lot, guys.